Welcome. Welcome. Yes. How exciting is this? On behalf of BrainStorm, I'd like to thank you for coming to join us. I'm Clint Betts. My real title is the founder and executive director of Beehive Startups in Silicon Slopes. I'm excited to be here, and I hope you are too. The Silicon Slopes movement is all about empowering Utah's tech community to learn, connect, and serve in order to make entrepreneurship open and accessible to all. Not only is BrainStorm a part of Utah's tech community, but they also share a similar mission with a reach that extends beyond the Utah borders and touches people around the world. BrainStorm is one of the original Silicon Slopes companies, founded in 1995, when WordPerfect and Novell still dominated the Utah tech scene. Does everybody remember WordPerfect and Novell? Yeah, give it up. I don't know if we're even here without those two companies kind of leading the way, and they were kind of the founding fathers of the Silicon Slopes movement. People don't realize 2 of the 3 biggest tech companies in the world in the early 90s were located in Provo, Utah. It's kind of crazy. So back then, though, BrainStorm was simply a training service companies, but now they are much different and different than anything you've ever seen when it comes to their SaaS solution, Quick Help, which empowers users to change the way they work by creating a learning experience as unique as each user. BrainStorm is quickly becoming the next main productivity application. Not only does BrainStorm create innovation in the workplace, but they also empower change in everyday life for their employees and the community. And when people are inspired to change the way they work, they are better equipped to change the world. In its 22-year history, BrainStorm has helped people climb Mount Everest, win football championships, and go to space. And for BrainStorm, helping organizations reach these feats is what it's all about. We are honored to hear next from a few of the great brands BrainStorm empowers and supports. You will hear their stories. We hope they inspire you. And most of all, we hope they inspire you to change, to reach beyond your current norm and live your aspirational life. We hope they leave you wanting to help others achieve this too, and to be a better you and help others be a better them. We want you to leave this event with the motivation to be the person you've always wanted to be, to live life in bold.
Hi everyone, I'm Gail Thomas, Microsoft's Vice President for our West Region Enterprise business.
Hi, my name's David Ma. I'm Director of Product Marketing of Office 365.
At Microsoft, we're really inspired by our mission to empower every organization and every person on the planet to achieve more.
How do you get a company with 10 employees, 10,000 employees, to understand what productivity solution they have? How does it make their jobs better and easier, and to be able to use it to unlock the value?
It's amazing to see how technology can bring out the potential in everyone and every team. Modern productivity solutions enable new ways to work, collaborate, share information, and gain insights. And end-user training and adoption is key to empowering the modern workplace.
We were trying to do a big push with customers while we were doing a relaunch of Yammer. And one of the challenges we had with Yammer was to have enough good content for customers to engage with. And so we went to BrainStorm and we explained our situation, and they came up with this tip of the day where we were able to kind of pre-seed content into our Yammer groups. And it allowed customers to comment and understand not only how to better use their productivity solutions, but it also was able to create content for them to engage with to get the ball rolling with the Yammer launch.
That's why we appreciate our collaboration with BrainStorm, a go-to productivity partner for Microsoft. For many years, BrainStorm has worked with us to ensure that people are using the right tools in the right ways. Over the years, I've received positive feedback from many people and companies about the lasting impact BrainStorm has had to help them transform and improve business processes. They've done this by personalizing, attracting, and engaging users with comprehensive training and change management.
I would say people who use BrainStorm really have the confidence to understand what do they have, how does it impact their business to make it better, make their jobs easier, versus those who don't, they go through a lot more kind of growing pains, and I feel like BrainStorm really helps them ease them through that transition process.
Microsoft and BrainStorm working together have unlocked people's potential. We're changing the way the world works.
everyone. My name is Elaine. I work for PepsiCo. We are the parent company of Frito-Lay, Quaker, Tropicana, Gatorade, and of course, Pepsi. At PepsiCo, we strive to create a healthier relationship between people and food while continuing to grow our business. To do this, employees need to be able to interact with our business partners on the other side of the globe as effectively as they do with their project team members that are in the same building as they are. To meet these demands, PepsiCo is changing the way it works. PepsiCo's Connected Employee Initiative, it combines new ways of working with the technology needed to enable us to connect, to collaborate, to discover, and share on any device, anywhere, anytime. Some of the ways we do this include objectives, like creating a real-time, face-to-face experience in a virtual environment, or providing a total virtual integrated work experience for our employees. Yet, with over 250,000 employees around the globe, this is no small task for my team. How does one effectively manage worldwide change? The logistics and cost of sending live trainers to all these locations just didn't make sense. We had to find a way to reach them in a repeatable, scalable approach. Partnering with BrainStorm was our answer. The Quick Help platform, it allowed us to deliver content that drives learning, productivity, and change at a scale and reach that would have not been possible with our current team. Quick Help and BrainStorm, they provided content, communication resources, and help desk training, and end-user accountability. And that allowed us to release new applications and features of Office 365 without overburdening our support teams and our training teams. So Quick Help lets our users learn what they need at their own pace without having to attend a formal training session. We knew we had the right platform when PepsiCo acquired a new business unit, and we utilized Quick Help to create and assign playlists to onboard everyone with our collaboration and communication tools. We received so much positive feedback from our user community on how much they like Quick Help training. It was really more information at the user's fingertips. So with all of our efforts and just our initial rollout, we have estimated substantial savings in help desk workload, our scaled direct training, and productivity savings. But most importantly, Quick Help has changed the way our learning and development team deliver value to PepsiCo, and ultimately is changing the way our users work and connect across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So for over the past 30 years, CDW has been through an evolution from a reseller to a solutions provider. Our focus is on solving some of our customers' most pressing business challenges, such as changing the way users work, changing the customer experience, and preparing for the future. Like our customers in this ever-evolving technology marketplace, CDW's software practice has been facing its own business challenges. In 2015, we noticed disruption everywhere. The transition from on-premise to the cloud had gone mainstream. That meant that IT budgets were moving from CapEx to on-demand. And customers were no longer coming to us just to transact. They were looking for us to help them drive real business value outcomes. This disruption specifically impacted our Microsoft business in several ways. New defined partner incentive programs based on driving customer adoption versus simply transacting the sale threatened our profitability. We were facing a new type of competitor with these born-in-the-cloud competition. And customers, again, they were looking for value-added offerings, driving measurable business outcomes instead of our traditional deployment services. So it became clear to us that adoption and change management services were a critical success factor in our ability to transform as we solved for these new challenges, especially around Microsoft Office 365. Now here we were a top Microsoft partner representing thousands of customers on Office 365 with millions of users. We had an army of account managers, hundreds of specialists and consultants that had deployed hundreds, if not thousands, of Office 365 engagements. But we didn't have an answer for adoption and change management services. So what were we going to do? Were we going to build a new practice and offerings? Did we have a partner that we could bundle their solutions in? Could we outsource? Enter BrainStorm and Quick Help. BrainStorm's approach and the Quick Help platform enabled CDW to easily integrate change management services into our existing portfolio, offering customers a complete business solution that drives real business value. Now, it just so happens that in parallel to this, CDW was developing a customer success strategy, and we were investing in a team of customer success managers. This gave us the opportunity to integrate BrainStorm into our overall Office 365 success framework. Our sales process was modified, so we introduced BrainStorm into our sales cycle at the 60% sales stage so we could capture the customer early in that cycle. And then we reminded our account managers again when the opportunity was won to ensure that Quick Help was positioned. We also added Quick Help solution into our sales and marketing assets for delivery. We are encouraged by our early successes and continue to learn and grow from our relationship with BrainStorm and our experience with Quick Help. This remains a significant opportunity for us to engage our customers, especially in adoption of SharePoint and Skype for Business Online. But we're confident that the partnership we've built with BrainStorm has put us in the best position to deliver value to our customers and change the way users work. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us. I'm Bashira Bassett, the Collaboration Manager for VF Corporation. As you can see, we have quite a few brands that we own. Wrangler Lee is one of our brands, and we are nationwide. We are also in Asia and Europe. We have about 18,000 associates that we support in 72 different countries. We went through the upgrade from Lotus Notes, all the way to Office 365. The task was impossible. We didn't want to overwhelm our associate with the training, with the formal training. We want them to concentrate on making VF the great company it is and making this innovative product. So we were trying to find a solution that we can reach them anywhere, and it can be very easy and quick. And the BrainStorm came in, and it was a great partnership. We have been working with them for 2 years and a little bit more. Our account manager, Lane, and Karen and Ryan, they have been great help for us. We have participated in more than, I would say, 10,000 employees have participated in multiple events. We have, to this minute, used over 10,000 minutes of videos that has been watched all across the world. We are looking at a new partnership as well. We are going through the upgrade of Office 2016, and we are doing a special event that Lane is helping me with, where we're going to reach out even our Asia user in their time and in their work hours. That is a big deal for a technology group to reach out to that individual. So we have that training already in place. Our Windows upgrade went so well with the help of BrainStorm. They have helped us in creating the Quick Help menu. It was even in English and Spanish, and that was tremendous success for us in CASA. We're looking forward for our next few years that's coming up, and we look forward for the new gamification that they have enabled. We have been trying to keep track of our associates, what they are learning and what they need, and BrainStorm made it that easy for us. I have a very small team. I cannot train the 18,000. Having that technology available to us is going to make it so much easy, and we're going to be able to upgrade our 18,000 machine that much faster and making the training that much easier. I really appreciate you inviting me, and thank you so much for inviting us to this event, and look forward for the next generation of BrainStorm. Thank you, everybody.
Hello. Big thanks to Bashira. I don't qualify for an introduction, so I would appreciate either equivalent or better applause since I have to do my own. My name is Justin Chandu. I'm a director for sales and marketing of O365 at Microsoft, and I've been supporting my colleagues by eating Doritos and downing Aquafina in the back. And I think I won up Bashira on the shoes, BrainStorm Yellow, and their Vans. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit today, very quickly, before we get to the good stuff, about our partnership with BrainStorm. It's been about 10 years since BrainStorm became a Microsoft partner, and I've worked with them for almost all of those years. My very first experience with them was the Quick Start card, which I know the BrainStorm employees in the group will know of, and some others of you. It's a 8.5 by 11 glossy card with tips and tricks about how to get the most out of Microsoft products. So there's one for Outlook and one for Windows, and it's things that you just don't know, that there's so many features and functionalities in there, that Windows P does, projection mode and things like that. The most used of these Quick Start cards, they used to appear on our desks at Microsoft, but the most used are in our Chicago office, in our Microsoft Technology Center, and they are placed in the bathroom. They are above the urinals, they are in the stalls, and that little brief moment, hopefully, that you're in the bathroom, you get to learn a trick or two about some Microsoft software thanks to BrainStorm's Quick Start cards. True story. Great product placement. Those Quick Start cards, like I said, was my first introduction, and they were quirky and fun and easy and human. And so I really approached BrainStorm with a task that I had to roll out a new program to our customers called CIE, Customer Immersion Experience. And this was really sitting around a boardroom with a customer, helping them experience what it was like to test drive our software. What was it like to actually have Skype plus Outlook plus Exchange plus SharePoint all hooked up together like we use every day at Microsoft, and we think there's value in that integrated platform. And so we created this great program, and we had BrainStorm really be the partner that rolled that out to our customers. And they've been doing that for a number of years now with us. In fact, they're our premier partner that continues to do that. Not only do they train other partners, but they train our own salespeople to deliver that same experience to many of our enterprise customers. I'll tell you a quick story about one of those times that we delivered that great program. We were in New York, and we were meeting with a customer who, unfortunately, and not to bring the audience down, they had just let a number of people go, a large number of people, and it was unexpected to the folks who were showing up for the CIE that day. And so we were advised in advance that they probably weren't in the best mood to be hearing, hey, there's some great software from Microsoft, and you want to be all excited about hearing about it. But BrainStorm did a masterful job of getting those people to engage and talking about what they did for work and what were the new challenges that came about as a result of losing some of their colleagues, and then kind of working through some of those problems and then showing them some of the solutions that Microsoft and other pieces of technology that we were talking about that day could offer. And as we did this, one of the big things was they have a process at the end of the month that takes 5 to 7 days to close down this process and report and do all the graphs and all the business reporting. And we showed them how you could take that from Excel into a business intelligence piece of software from Microsoft and bring that down to about 1 or 2 days. And this lady in the group started crying. And this first time and last time that we had a customer cry in a meeting, and we were concerned that it was related to the layoffs recently, et cetera, et cetera. And as it turned out, once she composed herself, she said, I'm not crying because of any of that. I'm crying because this gives me time back to see my kids, to spend more time with my kids. And we forget that those are the ultimate goals. Empowering people is part of our mission to not only be better at work and please your boss and all of those great things, but really looking at that change, being agents of change within work and then outside of work, and keeping in mind those things. And you're going to hear stories later about how BrainStorm themselves are empowering their employees to do things that they're interested in. That program has gone on to be the #1 sales and marketing program in Microsoft. It's brought us in a bunch of revenue and great leads, and it's brought a bunch of opportunity for BrainStorm as well, and we continue to partner on that. And again, they're our #1 partner for this program. Going forward, we are very invested in this new product, the Quick Help product that you're going to see and hear about shortly. And so much so that David Ma, who you saw in the video, he's here in front, a little celebrity action up here. There you go. He and his team actually partnered with BrainStorm to invest and purchase for our enterprise customers 90 days so that they can go, each of these customers gets 90 days to try this out of Microsoft customers. And then many of those are turning into great revenue opportunities for BrainStorm. And also, the holy grail of cloud services is increasing usage for us. So we're seeing those customers that use those BrainStorm tools are seeing usage in Outlook and SharePoint and Yammer and all of these different things go up, which is great for everybody. They're getting value out of our solutions and hopefully looking at partnering more with us. As we continue to change, BrainStorm's evolving, we are evolving. It's great to see how they've gone from 15 employees to 100 over the 10 years that I've worked with them, 100 plus actually, and one of Fortune's best places to work, which is fantastic. You should give yourselves a round of applause for that. Every time I visit the BrainStorm office, which is not often enough, but I always have a great time. They are so welcoming. There's always lots of snacks, just in case anyone's into that. Again, my Dorito fetish. Nonetheless, it's a great group of people. We are so happy to partner with them. Looking forward to another 10 years. And I'm excited to bring out CTO Derek Adams to show you the good stuff. Derek.
Thank you to Justin. One more round of applause for him. And absolutely thank you to Pepsi, VF Corp, and CDW for taking time out of their busy schedules to come and join us tonight. So thank you so much again. So many of you hopefully know about us. And when you think of BrainStorm, you probably might even think of us this as another typical training tool. But you'd be wrong. When you think about training, often you imagine yourself sitting in a boring classroom listening to relevant stuff. You have thoughts like, what does this have to do with me? Or why am I even learning this? Or if you're like me, what's for lunch, right? And it reminds me of a time years ago I was in a suburb of Chicago. And I was in a large corporate center training facility there. And you could just feel the negative energy in the room. And so I just asked, how many of you are here? How many of you want to be here today? And not a single hand went up. Okay, this is going to be a rough crowd, right? I thought, well, maybe nobody's just paying attention. So I said, how many of you are required to be here today? Every single hand in the room went up. That's not the way you want to start a training session, right? But this attitude, this negative attitude towards training is actually ubiquitous in the industry. And BrainStorm's been in the business for about 22 years, and most of that time, we've focused on improving our traditional type training. And we've actually become pretty good at it. For example, towards the end of that session, it had been a complete 180. And the highlight came as we were talking about a particular feature in Microsoft Outlook. And one of the participants slammed his hand on the desk, jumped up, and he said, "This is amazing. Why didn't anybody tell me about this before?" It's reactions like this that beg the question, how do we make this kind of connection with every person? So we've spent the last couple of years approaching this question with a completely new and unique perspective. And what we came up with is different. It's different than anything in the market today. A solution that is so personalized, it knows almost better than you do what you need. A solution that will engage with you at the appropriate time and method. And a solution that just isn't about teaching, but it's about changing the way you work. This is the new Quick Help. So to help me demonstrate this, I want to introduce you to Mario, Alex, and Lisa. So we were working with a Fortune 100 company that was really utilizing Quick Help. And we started taking a closer look at the data just to understand what they were learning. And it turned out that one of the most engaged learners was one of their lead scientists and researchers, Mario. So the learning team at the organization went to Mario to kind of get more of the story and try and figure out, why are you watching so many videos on Microsoft Excel? In fact, they were a little concerned because he's somewhat of a legend in the company, and they were wondering what he was doing with all his time. So it turns out that Mario did all of his own research, but then he was sending it to a different department to do all the data analysis, which was lengthy and obviously inefficient. Now, he knew his data inside and out. He just didn't know how to analyze it on his own. So how does Quick Help fit in here? Well, Mario starts by receiving a simple and personalized email invitation to try the company's new tool, Quick Help. He follows the link and is presented with a short series of questions about his role, what tools he currently uses, etc. Now, once that information is captured, this is where the magic starts, because a very personalized journey is created just for him. Now, this is based on a number of factors, including his answers, machine learning, all the other big data collection we have from other users' experiences, feedback, and other sources. Now, Quick Help determines that some assistance with Excel is a great starting point for Mario. So Mario quickly starts to understand there's a lot within Excel he he could be doing himself. He no longer needs another department. He continues to improve in his Excel knowledge, and Quick Help guides him deeper and deeper into more rich Excel features. And now he has the tools he needs to do the data analysis on his own. Well, he starts to think, maybe there's other tools out there that I'm not utilizing like I should be. Well, fortunately for him, Quick Help is there to help him continue the journey. Now let's pause for a minute and just understand what happened. The way Mario worked was completely transformed. He significantly increased the velocity of his research cycles, and he was able to get to his innovative discoveries faster than ever. But nobody in the organization was able to identify that need. Even if you looked at a talent development group within the organization, they wouldn't have identified Mario as a great candidate for using or getting help in Excel. I mean, after all, he's a legend in the company, basically an all-star. Why would he need assistance with something like Excel? Well, here's the magic. Quick Help could see it. Quick Help did see it. Quick Help can analyze and produce personalized experiences for every single user in every company. And personalized experiences create relevant, timely, and meaningful learning that results in change. So next, let's talk about Alex. Alex is an executive admin, and he's a single task that takes him about 16 hours a week. This may sound very familiar to a lot of you when we talk through this scenario. So he's responsible for compiling and presenting a report to management. So he goes through, and he has to take all this input from all these team leads. He compiles it all, puts together this PowerPoint presentation, pushes it back out to all the team leads. They get it, they go through, they review it, they take all their notes, and then they submit it back to Alex. Alex then has to take it, turn it into a single final presentation. Now, luckily for Alex, Quick Help is there to proactively engage him and assist. So one day, Alex receives an email. In that email, there's an invitation recommending a 30-minute live online event that is all about co-authoring and collaborating in PowerPoint. Now you might say, is this a coincidence? Was this contrived? Well, hardly. Remember, we just got done talking about how Quick Help knows your needs almost better than you do. So Alex is frustrated because when you think about this, he spends more than 1/3 of a working week every week over and over and over in this process. Very similar to the story that Justin just shared about the individual with Excel. So he thinks, boy, investing 30 minutes to just see hopefully or maybe there's a better way to do this. So he decides, he clicks on the invite and registers for the event. He then receives a calendar appointment, so on the given date and time, he simply, with a single click, joins the event. Now, Alex is blown away because by utilizing just a few of the newly learned features, he can change his workflow, and a process that used to take him 16 hours a week now takes him 2 hours a week. That's 14 hours a week he just got back. Who wouldn't like 14 more hours a week, right? So you can obviously understand his excitement, and he immediately shares the event with his peers that he thinks could really benefit from this. Now, a short time later, Alex's boss finds out about the change, and understanding how impactful this change could be to the organization, he makes sure that the content gets assigned out to everyone in the corporate offices. Now, this is a great success story, particularly for Alex, but there are 3 key events that I want to focus on that what happened here. First of all, Alex received a personalized email automatically from the Quick Help platform. Second, he then took it and socialized that learning by sharing it with his peers. And then lastly, the content was assigned to a group of employees, and they automatically received a notification of the assignment and engaged, and then they could have very well shared it with peers again. You'll recall the popular philosophical question about if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it actually make a sound? I've always thought the answer to that is, well, if there's nobody there to hear it, it doesn't really matter. And the reality is, you could have the best learning platform or the best tool in the world, but if nobody's there to use it, it's all gone to waste. So the ability not just to notify users, but effectively attract them to personalized training is absolutely critical. Now, these 3 key moments were all very powerful, but they were very unique in the ways that they motivated the users, whether it was a peer invite, whether it was an automatic assignment, or even an assignment from executive within the organization. Now, these are just a few examples of the way that Quick Help can engage and attract users. All right, so finally, let's meet Lisa. Lisa works for a great company. It's different, because they believe that, well, everyone believes this, I guess, but the power's in its people, right? We all say this. But they really believe the power's in their people, and it's a great place to work. It's a company that embraces Microsoft technology, and she knows that for their people to keep doing great work, they need to be able to use the powerful tools they have. I love the comment Lisa made when she saw this new version of Quick Help. She said, we were going to have to build a tool internally to manage our onboarding for our new college recruits. And I'm so excited to see that you've already created exactly what we wanted. Now, as you all know, starting a new job can be overwhelming. There's so much new information coming, and I'm not sure any of us ever remember that information from those orientation sessions. And I think Lisa and her team understood that. So they went and created digital content of all of their onboarding information, and they uploaded it into Quick Help. They even added some questions there just to make sure that users are processing the information properly. So now on the first day of the job rolls around for this latest class of college recruits, they had a clear learning path laid out in front of them. First was the custom content that Lisa and her team had put out there. Next were some basic introductions to the Microsoft technologies and tools that they would be using. And lastly, and this is most important, these new hires were then brought into a personalized experience where the context and tools were relevant for the roles they would be filling in the organization. We spend so much of our time in life with the irrelevant information and the inefficiencies as we're doing it. Now, as we look at what they're doing here, the new hires start learning, and they're busy learning, and they're earning badges. But Lisa's team can also watch on dashboards to make sure that these new hires are demonstrating the competency they need in order to be successful in the company. Now, does this sound different than an onboarding experience you may have had in your organization? Lisa shared that this was the most successful onboarding that they had ever had. They also saved that year of development they were going to spend on the internal tool. And most importantly, as she stated, their users were now ready to deliver for their customers. When it was all said and done, their statement was absolutely perfect. The BrainStorm platform changed the way we learn. Not only did Lisa change the onboarding process, but these users are absolutely changed. Changed in how they learn, changed in what they learned, and changed because now they're on a personalized user journey that ensures that the positive changes never stop. Now, the best part of these stories is every one of them is true. We've changed the names on them to protect the guilty or the innocent, but they are all true. They're absolutely the real deal. And they all show how impactful Quick Help can be to an individual and on an individual level. So I'd like to end today with showing a little bit about what can happen at an organizational level when you aggregate the individual experiences. So a major global financial firm was preparing to deploy Microsoft OneDrive. And the key stakeholders were very, very concerned about this. They'd recently had a software deployment that hadn't gone so well, and their users had not been thrilled with the experience. The second reason they were concerned was this is their first step in using cloud technology. And any disruption to productivity would have been just detrimental to what was going on. And so clearly, the stakes were very, very high. Well, the timing was perfect because our beta version of this version of Quick Help had just been released. And so we took a pilot group of their users of just over 450 folks, and here's what happened. 95% of the pilot group engaged in the training. Now, these results absolutely astounded our customer. They told us that they had very frequently tried similar things, and they were seeing around a 5% participation rate. When you think about that, that's such a big jump. Now, even more incredible was 92% of them participated in multiple learning activities. So what this talks about is the depth of the learning that's going on. The users were finding it useful, helpful, and they wanted more. At the end of the training, at the end of this cycle, survey was posted out, and 93% agreed that they were either excited or well prepared for the introduction of OneDrive. Extremely different for software deployment from what we typically see. Now, you might think these results sound incredibly high, and they are, but they're not abnormal for us. You see, with this latest version of Quick Help, we are consistently seeing numbers like this across all of our customers. So what have we learned today? When you engage with users and attract them to relevant, personalized content at the right time, the resulting participation levels are magical. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is different. This is different than anything we see on the market today in this approach. And it doesn't come from just a bunch of content in a library. It doesn't even just come from a simple technological platform. There's something magical about combining the content expertise that BrainStorm has with an intelligent platform, and then you have the goal of not just teaching, but bringing about change, changing vision, changing work habits, ultimately changing people. So the question now for you and for organizations is no longer, how do I drive change in my organization? But rather, what are the changes I want to make? Welcome to the new Quick Help. Thank you very much.
Quick help. I'm pretty sure that's what Barkley said, right? As Stockton hit that shot, he's like, quick help. Thank you, Derek. That was awesome. So now that we've had a taste of the product, we'd like to dive into the BrainStorm story and culture with Eric Farr and John Wade, the BrainStorm principals. And to help, we've asked Kurt Roberts from Kickstart Seed Fund, a BrainStorm investor and board member, to lead that conversation. I'm pretty sure when Stockton hit that shot, there was a standing ovation. Let's give a standing ovation for these gentlemen. Give it up for Eric, Kurt, and John.
Holy smokes. That wasn't part of the plan. Oh my goodness, no.
Thank you.
They're throwing us off our game already.
Yeah, gosh.
All I can say is I never get standing ovations and nobody moves my furniture. I don't know how you guys get this.
Enjoy it while we can, I guess.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for the opportunity to come talk to you.
Oh, thanks for being
on
here,
stage.
Kurt.
It's such an important event. This is a real privilege to be able to do this. We decided as we were preparing for this, before we started a conversation with Eric and John, that I would make a few comments on kind of how we see BrainStorm from the perspective of being an investor. We had the opportunity at Kickstart Seed Fund to get to know BrainStorm going on about 2-ish years ago, and ultimately had the opportunity to lead an investment round in the company about 18 months ago. And there were some things that stood out as being unique and special about BrainStorm at the time. And I just want to comment on one of them before we get into our conversation here, because I think it says something about what makes this company special. We see, as investors, companies all the time, and many of them we look for things that are very, very much in common. We look for progress and evidence that the customers are happy and pleased and they're paying for the product. We look for a great management team. We look for real differentiation in the product offering, something that's unique and defensible. All these kinds of things that if you know anything about investing, you're going to see. One thing that we thought was really, really unique and interesting about BrainStorm as we were looking at it was that this is a company that had basically operated profitably since its founding. And at the time we were preparing to invest, had over 70 employees, and they'd never taken a dime of outside money. That's really unusual, and it's extremely hard to do. And the beautiful thing that created, I think, for the BrainStorm team, for Eric and John and everybody else that counts on this company, was the ability to control their destiny. So that by the time people like us are coming around and saying, hey, we'd like to join you on the journey and be part of this, these guys didn't need us, in the classic sense that many companies do, right? So it created a relationship that was really fantastic from the very, very beginning, because you could determine how you wanted to build this company because you'd done it for 12 plus years, right? So really unique situation. So with that, I mean, just kind of a brief investor perspective, let's get into a conversation about where we find ourselves today. So talk for a moment, if you would, about the kind of the path you find yourselves on now and the journey that you're on.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you
Thanks, Kurt.
for those kind words. No, it's been a great journey. We've been at this for a while, and it's been awesome. It's hard to describe. When I do picture it, I think of it's kind of, maybe it's like bareback riding a rocket ship, right? There's lots of wind in your hair, but you get singed every once in a while too. And
Yep.
we love the mission that we're about. You know, if you look at, I think we sort of aim high, and we sort of think big. And if you look at progress throughout all mankind, it's really been determined by the technological and scientific advances and discoveries that happen. And those are now happening at record pace. So what used to take a century the progress that used to take a century is now taking just 1 or 2 decades, and that cycle is shrinking. And so, for the first time, actually, let me share a statistic that we share in our circles to sort of even drive that point home and make it more vivid. 65% of grade school children today will work in jobs that aren't yet invented. And that's a pretty bold statement. I see some eyebrows raising, and it is. But think about the jobs that we have. It's applicable to me, and it's applicable to many of us here, and that cycle just continues. So with that, really for the first time, we're entering into an era where our progress, our human progress, won't be limited by the discoveries as much as it will be limited by our ability to keep up.
Yep.
And so, that's a real challenge. It's a challenge that we're focusing on. There's already a skills gap, and when we don't adopt the technology that's available today, it doesn't just leave our VCR blinking, 12 o'clock incessantly. It's important stuff.
Bigger deal.
It's tough. It's happening quickly. That's why we really try to figure out how can we solve this problem. And one of the reasons why the gap exists is because the approach that we've been taking is with an educational model that's pretty antiquated. All the education system that we went through is based off of has Prussian origins from 300 years ago. And that doesn't really work very well for today's circumstances.
Did you hear that, Kurt? 300. We still use a model that's 300 years old.
Yep.
And instead of innovating against that model, we believe it's time to kind of throw that model away and really innovate from scratch.
Yep.
Yeah, which is what we've tried to do with Quick Help. That's why you see a lot of 21st century type tools, right? So we're leveraging the capabilities of big data and artificial intelligence and what we now know about neuroscience and how brains learn and how we change. And so, we think a lot's riding on it, and we're pretty determined to try to bring the solution forward.
Yep. That's fantastic. So we're seeing, obviously, today a snapshot of where you are now, this amazing new product that you're launching, all the progress that you've made. A lot of people here don't really know about your humble beginnings and kind of the history of the company. So talk about that for a few minutes.
Well, I think Clint mentioned that we're one of the original Silicon Slopes companies.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty cool. And we're excited about that. We're honored to be a part of that. We were founded in 1995 when WordPerfect was still dominating the tech scene here locally and throughout the country, really. John and I acquired the company about 7 years later. And at that time, we really acquired a training services company. And that was fine, but we pretty quickly realized, our customers need more, and we can do more for them. Here's the reality. Our customers really aren't trying to purchase training. They're not even trying to purchase learning. What they are trying to purchase is change. They want their employees to change. They want them to be better, faster, create better work. So that's what they really want their employees to do, is to empower them and to allow them to change in that way. But here's the problem. As we look at our industry, most learning companies, they make a huge fatal assumption. They assume that just because someone learns something, that they actually will change. Mm-hmm. And frankly, it's just not right.
Yeah, no, there's a big step that has to come after the learning to change. We've all done it, right?
Yep.
We've learned something. We've even committed ourselves. We're going to do this thing now differently, and then we don't.
Yep.
Right? So we've all experienced that before, and it's because it's a big step.
Yep.
So our answer to that is Quick Help. And you've seen it. You saw it today. Our customers are speaking to it, and Derek has now just spoken to it. And it's working. It's resonating. Our clients are liking it. As we see the engagement with our product, it's magnitudes higher. Not just incrementally higher, but magnitudes higher than what we see as the industry standard.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting to us. Of course, the education technology industry is a great place to be right now. There's so much innovation happening, but it's our commitment to stay at the forefront of that innovation so that we can continue to help our clients drive that change through the organization.
Yep. Okay, so we've heard from some of your customers tonight, kind of raving fans of what you guys do for them. That's a reflection, I think, one of the things I've observed about the two of you and the leadership team at BrainStorm, of your kind of obsessive focus on the customer and what you're delivering to the customer. Talk about that a bit, if you would.
We teach tech, but we know that we're really in the people business. And if we're going to, accomplish our mission, that has to be the case. The customer has to be at the focus, and the user has to be at the center of everything we do. And for a couple of reasons. One is it's tough. It's difficult. Change is challenging, and so we have to have that focus. And secondly, really by definition, we don't really win unless they win, right? And so if we're going to empower them to win, we have to make sure that they're really at the center. And sometimes that brings us to a crossroads. And we've had those defining moments in our company's history where we had to decide, and our mettle was really tested. What were we going to do? Are we going to put the customer first or not?
So one of those crossroads, I got to tell you about the Scotland story. It's infamous, if you will, at BrainStorm. When early on, when we first acquired this company, we didn't have very much money, and really no money actually. And we happened to make a.
I was gonna say, where was the money?
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't have any money. We made a great sale though at the time. It was a couple thousand quick start cars. These are these cars that Justin talked about. And so we boxed those up and we shipped them over to this client who happened to be in Scotland. Now on a Thursday, I got a call from the client, and she was she was frustrated as well as somewhat angry. She had found out that the quick start cars were going to arrive on Monday, which was correct, but the training was Monday morning, and they needed to be there Monday morning, and they weren't going to arrive until Monday afternoon. Well, right then we had kind of one of those moments where we had to figure out what were we going to do? How far would we go to make sure that we delivered the value that we had committed to the customer? Well, of course, we told her, absolutely, we're going to box up some of these quick start cards and we're going to send them back out to you and overnight them so that you have them. Well, we spent most of Thursday trying to figure out how to overnight quick start cars to Scotland. Guess what? Can't do it. That was a bummer.
Kind of third world.
Yeah, it's third world out there.
Yeah.
No, they were
remote Scotland.
Remote Scotland. No, you can't do it. And so Friday, what we realized there's only one way to do this. One of us is going to have to fly these cards over there. Well, I must have picked the short straw because I got on an airplane on Saturday morning, and I flew from Salt Lake to LA. Remember, we don't have any money, so that's important to this. Salt Lake to LA, to New York, to London, and then up to Scotland. And the client was she just could not believe that here, a principal of the company was standing with 200 pounds of boxes to hand off to her. Oh, she was so happy about it. She was so happy she took me for a drink. And 2 hours later, I got back on the airplane to head home. Now,
for a minute there, you were going to say, I took a couple of extra days, rode a motorcycle around
Scotland. I should have.
Yeah.
Looking back, that was a huge mistake on my part. I had to get back. It was a turnaround. I had a lot of work to do. So, but that was a defining moment. It really became a rally cry for BrainStorm, and we still talk about that story. We have a lot of stories like that because it's how we believe. It's what we want to do.
Yeah, one of the things I like about that story too is that customer actually became one of our largest customers over the next 5 years, and not because they were large, but just they had pivoted their business around working with us because they knew that we'd be there for them.
Yep. Now, my observation of the company has been this sort of obsessive focus on the customer is not just at your guys' level. It permeates the whole team.
Yeah.
How's that evidenced from your perspective?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Frankly, it's less about us now. It's much more about the team members and what we're trying to do. We've tried to set a lot of different initiatives to ensure that we as team members are thinking way beyond ourselves and really thinking much more beyond even a business-to-business type relationship. I mean, we do work with people, right? And so it's people to people, and we want to be thinking about the people that we're working with. One of my favorite initiatives that we have is all the BrainStorm team members, we all have a budget that we can spend every month to help those people that we come across in business that may be struggling in some way, may have a bad day. Let me give you an example of this. A couple of years ago, one of our great team members, Zach Bittner, he was on a call with a client. And the client indicated to him that he had just been diagnosed with cancer. He also in that call indicated that one of his hobbies was to pan for gold. And he kind of joked that, now that I know I have cancer, this panning for gold is going to become kind of a second gig for me as I try to raise money for the cancer treatments.
Yeah.
Well, Zach hung up from that phone call, got another great team member, Tyler Rogers, and the two of them went about 50 miles west of here to a little-known gold claim. And they took a box and they stuffed that box as full as they could with dirt from that gold claim. Of course, they drafted a little note and just said, so sorry for your situation and hope you enjoy panning some gold from Utah. Now, I don't know exactly what he said when he received that big box of dirt, but I can only imagine he had to be touched, and he had to be surprised that some vendor all the way across the country thought enough to do that for him.
Shipped them dirt.
Shipped him dirt.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
That was them. I didn't know that was happening. It just happened organically.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's. I think there was gold in there actually. Too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was good.
So, no, absolutely. That is BrainStorm. That's who BrainStorm is. It's we want people to win, and sometimes maybe what the support that they need that day isn't, is a little different. It's a little different, and so we want our team to definitely try to help the people that they run across with, and help them the way that they need to. That is part of the culture. It's kind of tangible. It's thick. When people come in and they become part of the team, it's like showering in yellow nacho cheese dust, right? It's going to get in the nooks and crannies there and stick a little bit. It's absolutely part of who they are, and the culture goes well beyond our wingspan for sure.
Quite imagery.
Listen, come and do
meant
it.
to be a visual.
Yeah. I think that's on our quote board somewhere.
It's on our quote board, I'm sure. So the reality is we at BrainStorm, we focused on culture long before it became vogue. We've been doing this a long time, and one of the things that we've learned actually is culture is not, and we mistakenly think this a lot in the business world, but it's not about the perks like free sodas and foosball table and meals being brought in. Those are good. They may be a part of that culture, but the real culture is who we are as individuals and what that looks like when we come together as teams and ultimately as a company, right? So that's what's important. That has to do with respect and treating each other with respect. It has to do with integrity. It has to do with work ethic. All of these great things. It defines us. Culture is what defines us in regards to how we're going to face challenges in what we do. There's not a better compliment for me personally than when an employee comes to me and says, Eric, I want you to know I'm a better person for having worked at BrainStorm. And they're not talking about being a better employee. They're talking about being a better person. A better father, a better mother, maybe a better friend. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, that is as good as it gets. A few months ago, you gave me the opportunity to kind of get a deeper look at one of the ways you do that for people. And you call this the Boom Campaign. So I'd like you to talk about that for a minute.
The Boom Campaign, I love it. We talk a pretty big talk, right? We talk a lot about our culture and about what our mission is and what we're trying to accomplish. And so we need to make sure that we back it up and that we actually are living that way and empowering our teams to live that way. And so the Boom Campaign we thought up of a while ago. And what it is it's a sponsorship program essentially where employees can apply and say, hey, I would like to go do this adventure. And it's an adventure that is a bucket list type item, something that causes them to stretch and to grow, experience life in a new way and to live life in bold. And so, and the applications that we get are amazing. They're very inspiring and super creative, and I would want to do basically all of them. But, and so we award those employees a few a year to go on these adventures. And so we actually have an employee doing one right now. So Jordan Strain, who's on our marketing team, she has always wanted to become a chocolatier. And I have to say, when I first heard of that, when she applied, I was like, I don't know if this is really what we're talking about. But when you hear her talk about it, and when you learn more about what's involved to become a chocolatier.
And it was her bucket list
And
item.
it was her bucket list item, right? It's not my list.
It's
so
not yours.
Can I apply to just eat chocolate? Do you guys do that for me?
we'll let you know.
I would love that.
We'll let you know. But
All right.
But that's something that she was very passionate about, and frankly, it requires a lot of effort and work, and so, we said yes, let's do this, and she is even tonight. She's currently in Paris, finishing this part of the campaign, studying at some of the elite chocolatier schools, and and we'll be returning home not in the near future, but. One of the things that's going to be exciting about that is she's committed to develop what she interprets as the BrainStorm chocolate and flavor. And so I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to sharing it with other BrainStorm family.
Hopefully it's good.
Yes.
This would be great.
Yes.
If you
It
want,
looks good.
Yeah, if you want to see something amazing, go to BrainStorm Boom.
Hashtag BrainStorm Boom.
on
Yeah.
Instagram, and she's
posting.
posted a lot of these things as well as other adventures that we've been on. Derek and I actually had the opportunity to do something very much like a Boom campaign this summer. The two of us and good friends, Jason and Travis, who are here actually tonight, we decided that we would motorcycle from here up to the Arctic Ocean, which was about an 8-day trip. So one day, one morning, halfway through the trip, somewhere in Canada, we had the opportunity it was raining, so Jason and I kind of pulled over, if you will, and got our rain suits on, and we lost the group, the other two went on. Well, we kept traveling to catch up, and we accidentally missed the turnoff, and we got about 20 miles beyond. And I looked down, and we were looking at the map, and it'd be easy just to go back the 20 miles. But as I started looking, I saw, well, we could go this way, and we could go over by the ocean, that'd be cool, and we could go up. But it was going to add about 250 miles to an already 600-mile day. And on a motorcycle, that's a long day. Well, I looked at Jason, and I said, Jason, I got to tell you, my heart says yes, but my mind says no way. And
I guess your butt probably said no, too.
my butt even said a stronger no.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. And I'll never forget what Jason said. He looked at me and he said, look, Eric, there's something I've learned in life. Most of life's great adventures start with a wrong turn. And I thought, man, that is how life is, And so we went and we did it. And gosh, that day, Jason darn near ran out of gas in the middle of nowhere. We found ourselves in a First Nations village in Canada, and one of the residents there cooked us fresh, right out of the ocean that day. We rode miles through a lava field, miles of dirt. We saw a ton of wildlife. I actually hit a bear that day.
Was it a stuffed bear? Or
no, it was a
real bear.
It was a legit bear.
Real bear.
It's a different story, though. I won't spend time on that. And we rode until the midnight sun set, and we got into our destination at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And that was after about 18, 19 hours of riding that day. But I look back on that, and it was like the most epic riding day I'd ever had. Not only that, it was one of the most epic days of my life. Well, that's what the Boom campaign's about. How do we create those experiences for our team members who we love and respect and are so grateful for? That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. I think you can tell this is a pretty special place. It is very rare that we find ourselves in a circumstance where we can connect so deeply to a team and a mission that really exists to help people become their best selves. And whether it's best selves as employees in the organizations that you serve as your customers, yourselves as founders of the company, or your team members, that's what you guys are about. And that's what makes BrainStorm special from my perspective. So join me in a round of applause to thank Eric and John and the whole BrainStorm team for doing it.
Thank you. Appreciate the thank you and the applause. We're supported every day, both for this event as well as, just every day at work. And there's a lot of people. We're so grateful that our customers could be here today. Yep. Grateful for partners, great partners like CDW and Microsoft. Thankful for folks like you and for Clint. Holy smokes, he nailed it. So fun. But, there's a lot of people that we need to thank.
And of course, so many, and all of you who are here today, thank you for supporting us.
Thanks for the BrainStorm team.
Yeah.
Right back at you. So everybody gets a round of
Yes.
applause, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.